Now let me explain. The term right hand is symbolic of power.
Say what?
Right hand in the Bible mean power.
Say what?
Say
what?
So let's look at this. What does right hand mean? It was basically Hebraic thought. We'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag for power.
Cut! No, man.
Hello, tubers. How are you doing today? Well, I hope you're doing real well. I hope you're praying the rosary, getting close to God, following His ways, because that is the most important thing to do, is to worship God and getting close to God. Today I wanted to talk about the importance of the right hand and what God and the Bible is talking about when they speak about the right hand. And so many people talk about it, and I don't think most really understand what the right hand really means. As you heard from the other videos, these pastors are saying that the right hand is power. And I agree with them. However, it's more complicated than that, because it's just not power. There's more to it. When I was in high school, I used to wrestle. I was on the wrestling team. And I understood, after I got my butt kicked a bunch of times, that positioning was very important. If I was on top of my opponent, I was in a position of power. I can control him. If I was on the bottom, then I was being controlled. And this is what I'm talking about in regards to the right hand. The right hand is really your position in the eyes of God. And when they talk about Jesus Christ sitting at the right hand of God, of course they're not talking about literally that Jesus is sitting next to God, sitting there. I mean, God is a spirit, and it'd be very difficult to sit next to a spirit. But what they're meaning about, and they talk about, they talk about power, and it really is not about power, even though it is. It's that Jesus has positioned himself on the right hand of God. And what I mean by that is that Jesus did everything that he needed to do so that he had the privilege to sit at the right hand of God, or to be trusted. He has proven himself. He has positioned himself in a manner that he is figuratively sitting at the right hand of God. There's a saying that we have, many people say, this is my right hand man, or this is my right hand woman. And when somebody says that, we're meaning that this person is trusted, right? I mean, they're not literally my right hand, right? That's not what we're trying to say. We're just trying to say that this person has positioned him or herself to be trusted. So if you can't find me, talk to this person, and this person is like my right hand. This person is trusted. In the book of Mark, chapter 10, James and John once came up to Jesus and asked him, "Grant unto us that we may sit, one at your right hand and the other at your left, in thy glory." And in chapter 38, chapter 10, verse 38, Jesus said, "You don't know what you're asking." Later he responded, "To sit at my right hand or at my left is not mine to grant, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared." So this is basically positioning yourself by following God's ways. Because if you're meriting and following God's ways, you're going to merit to be at the right hand. And if not, you're going to be in the left hand. Because the right hand does have that privilege, whereas the left hand are not the privileged ones. So it's interesting that Jesus says it's for those for whom it has been prepared. So who's doing the preparing? It's, God the Father. Now it's basically Jesus Christ. In John chapter 14, verse 2, it says that I am going away to prepare a place for you. Now, Jesus is going to prepare a place for you, but you have to merit that preparation, right? If you're not going to follow God's ways, Jesus is not going to prepare a place for you. So these are the things you have to understand in regards to sitting at the right or being at the right hand of God. Because it's not only Jesus is at the right hand of God, but you and I could be at the right hand of God, because it's really a positioning that we have done through following God's ways. And I always speak about this, as I said it in the beginning when I started talking. You have to follow God's ways. You got to follow God's ways. It begins and starts by following God's ways. In the book of Judges, when Gideon was fighting and he had 300 soldiers, it says, "Then the 3 companies blew the trumpets and broke the jars. They held in their left hands the torches, and in the right hands the trumpets to blow." Now trumpets mean anticipation or awakening and success. There's a phrase, to blow your own horn or to blow your own trumpet. And that's basically that you have some success, that you're proud and you're blowing your own horn or trumpet. In the U.S. Army, they still use the bugle to signal their events. So trumpets and bugles have been used for centuries. And like I said, in the passage, they use their right hand to blow the trumpets. Now, what did they have in their left hands? In their left hands, they had torches. And torches, what do they hold? Torches hold fire. And fire symbolizes sin and hell. And it's just a matter of positioning. It's all a matter of positioning, you following God's ways for you to be able to be put in that position. Just like when I learned when I was in high school, for me to win against my opponent, I had to put myself in a better position. And that took effort. And God's ways takes effort. We're not all granted to be sitting or being at the right hand of God. We have to position ourselves that way, and it takes effort. But it's worth it. It's worth it. So I hope you learned something from this passage or from this video. I want to thank you for listening to me. And as always, God bless.